Yo, Scuffed Setup Gaming here. I was gonna make a semi-high effort video about anime I like. I was gonna talk about 5 of them. First would have been Spy Family. I talked about how I don't typically like action anime, except Spy Family was pretty good. Mostly because it also incorporated some thriller slice of life elements that made it pretty cool in my opinion. Then I talk about Is the Order a Rabbit because I love slice of life, and I think Is the Order a Rabbit is that really good. And then after that I talk about 100 Girlfriends and about how too many people sleep on it just because it looks like it would be horrible, like a terrible slop harem anime. Except no, it's much better than just that. And then after that, I just yap about JoJo, because JoJo is really good. And then after that, I talk about my favorite anime, New Game. New Game has had a stupidly huge impact on my life, and I was just going to go really in-depth about that. And then throughout the video, I would have put other anime on screen that were similar, because I started a different video, well, the same video, where I just talked about 10 anime I really like. Except I ended up just repeating myself a lot and cutting out a lot, and then it wasn't that good of a video. So then I just cut it down to 5, and then just put 3 other anime similar to the one I'm talking about right now on the screen, because that was better. I was also planning a video where I just yap about game difficulty, except I just wasn't that good at talking about it. I knew what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to touch about how retro games are typically a lot more difficult, and I was going to use Half-Life and Half-Life 2 as an example, where the hardest parts of Half-Life are much harder than the hardest parts of Half-Life 2. I played both on normal, and Half-Life was definitely by far the harder one. And for the longest time, I just didn't like Half-Life. And then I still forced myself to play through it because I like video game history. I like video games, I like their history, and Half-Life is very important to that. And by the time I got near the end, it finally clicked with me why this game is good. And then Zen happened. And then I was also going to talk about Celeste, puzzle games, visual novels, mystery games. And I wanted to talk about how some games difficulty just doesn't apply to, because the games are either that hard or it doesn't make sense to give them more difficulties. I was also going to talk about Disco Elysium, which is my favorite game of all time, and how you kind of make your own difficulty with that. Except I couldn't find a way to combine all my thoughts in a way that was interesting. So I kind of just tossed that video aside. I probably won't come back to it, but if I do, it's probably going to be a while in the future. I was also going to touch on Roblox games a bit, except the Roblox games. Dandy's World could be a good example where the difficulty comes from the characters you choose. For example, the game's going to be much harder if you're playing as Connie or Sylvester or Shrimpo. And then the game's going to be baby easy if you're playing Tegan or whatever. Other than that, that's kind of all the scrapped things that happened between my last video and now. I mainly got onto that train of thought because I don't want to be stuck making Roblox videos, because I have a lot more interests than just Roblox. For example, I watch a lot of anime. I play real games. For example, I recently got around to playing Bioshock, which is really good. I'm about halfway through the game. Recently I beat Journey because it was a game one of my friends liked. It reminded me a lot of when I played a Kirby game for the first time because one of my friends also likes Kirby. Almost word for word, what I told them afterwards was like, yeah, for my platformers harder, except I still had a good time, which basically applies to what I thought of Journey. It wasn't that hard, but I still had fun, even though I typically prefer like a challenge. And then I like Phoenix Wright games. I like Disco Elysium. Yeah, I don't have much else to say for now. Might as well talk about Danny's World. Pretty fun game. Halloween event has characters that switch things up. So far, I think it's pretty interesting what they do. Eclipse is like a fun way of doing something like Brightney, where they have an ability that only really affects them during like blackouts, which makes their gameplay unique since it's not like they're bad outside of blackouts. Like, I think Brightney could definitely be better because her only use is like revealing enemies during blackouts, which is like, okay, V is better, like a direct upgrade to Brightney. And so I think Eclipse is interesting in that way. And then Sylvester is Connie, except like not insufferable because they're both horrendous to play as. They're slow as hell, except like Sylvester is actually useful since he can actually do machines in like any kind of decent speed. And then Connie is just like, she's like the white girls that inspired her and is just annoying and really selfish to play as, even though she's like not useful at all. She doesn't do anything. All she does is like sneak past twisters, which is not hard if you have a half-decent distractor. And even then, if you're playing solo, that's not gonna, her stealth is not gonna help at all. I'd rather just use my luck to try and find a smoke bomb. Or I could just be able to actually outrun twisteds that like I need to get away from. And so like Sylvester is just like direct upgrade to Connie every way. And then Rebecca is interesting. She's definitely the best of the 3-star total kind of tunes. And she's very fun. I don't have to worry about V and all that. Gordy, I have not played it yet because I do not have her research yet. Because for some reason, and I really hate this, is it like Glisten, where I just have to go in the range, doesn't matter what state they're in, but I have to wait for Gordy to get angry before I can research, which is annoying because I had a game where I found like 5 of them before I died at like floor 23 or something, and I only got research for one of those Gordys because the last one I did was right next to him, and so I have the same amount of research for Eclipse and Gordy. Both of them are at like 50 something. I could probably finish Gordy research by now if I could have just realized that earlier. That's kind of all I have to really say for now. Slop video, I recorded this the same day I uploaded it, and yeah, the audio is definitely going to sound a lot worse than my other videos because I record those in Audacity and then I re-record it over and over again, except I'm recording this as I play it, so yeah, I might as well do it this run. Or not. Well, that's the end of that. So yeah, like and subscribe and whatever.